Alrighty then. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. We're doing a classic Sunday stream where we start. Wow, an orange to start. That is unfortunate. Where we're doing a little bit of gaming, and then after the gaming, we will be getting into the reading. I tempt you in with the gaming, and then you stay for me reading you Dracula. That's how this works. It's a little bit of a bait and switch, you see. It's called being a smart boy. That's me, the smart boy. Oh, that did not bounce the way I wanted. Okay. Oh, no, those two combine. Okay. Still got another... Oh, come on now. That's just being mean, game. Okay, over here then. There we go. That's better. Then we can get the pomegranates together. There we... Okay, that's working. Well, we'll stash these little guys over here for right now. Yeah, I got... Ah, that was perfect. There we go. That still works. A little bit of a weird position, but I get it. Let's see. We'll put him on this side, and then this side. And then... Oh, no, you bounced all the way over there. That's okay, though. There we go. Perfect. We can do this double strawberry. Oh, come on now. Come on now. I'm gonna put this one over here just because you're being a little meanie. See if I can't bump you guys into position. I can't, apparently. Oh, there we go. Now you're behaving. Put one more down there. Alright, put that right there. That right there. Boop that. Alright, another cantaloupe. Yeah, this is working. Alright. So I do have a little bit of a Thanksgiving story for you guys. So on Thanksgiving, I had to go out and grab some last-minute groceries, as one does. You know, you think you got stuff in the pantry and then you don't. So you gotta go find stuff. It's a Christmas Thanksgiving adventure. I said Christmas because we got our first snow on Thanksgiving. It was a nice little snow. Didn't hurt traffic or anything. It was just nice, you know? Made it feel a bit like Christmas. So anyway, I'm going out to get groceries, and I'm trying all the stores I can because the internet keeps lying to me and telling me things are open that are clearly not open. But I'm trying all the stores I can, and I eventually, as I'm driving down the road, I see a bunch of people, specifically what looks to be soccer moms, in really short shorts, in the middle of a snowstorm, running down the sidewalk, and like, they were probably being led by, but it looked all the world like they were chasing a man in a turkey costume. It was the most bizarre spectacle I've ever seen, because I guarantee you all of them were freezing their legs off out there, chasing this turkey man, and I have no idea why. I have zero clue what was going on there. I have zero clue. So I'm watching this spectacle, And then a couple minutes later, as I'm driving down the road, I find this huge crowd behind them that seem to have just been outpaced by the turkey and the soccer moms. This huge crowd of like normal people who are wearing like normal clothing for a snowstorm. And they're out there just walking down the sidewalk. I don't know what for or where they were going, but they were there, dagnabbit. And they were walking. It was so bizarre to me. Because, like, it's 20 degrees it was for us Thanksgiving. 20 degrees. And they're just doing a brisk little walk down the sidewalk. I drove a couple miles down that particular stretch, and they were still going. So, like, they were doing a couple miles there. It's very odd. Okay, we'll put one right there, I guess. There we go. Yeah, push them over. Oh, not like that, game. Come on now. Do I have to put them over here? Yeah. There we go. Got some movement. Then we can put this right there. Yeah! Oh, that was such a good little chain of events there. I love that. So I have been practicing off stream. Though I wouldn't call myself good at the game yet. Because there are some people who got, like, just cracked at this game. But I have been practicing off stream. And I do feel myself, like, improving. Not by much, but the improvement is there. Darn. Oh! That was good, I think. Here, I'll start filling in this side. Okay, that's working. Just gotta get those two pinks together. This one's feeling very over. It's feeling very Jover. Maybe right there? Oh, that didn't work. Yep, there we go. Alright. Could be worse. Alright, starting with a pomegranate. I guess we'll put you over here. And you right next. Nope, apparently not. Got a bit too close and it decided to spin out into the ether. Alright. Game's being very generous with the oranges this run. There we go, we'll put you right there. You right there. Yeah, it's all coming together. Literally coming together. See if we can't get that strawberry over a little bit. There we go. Good timing on that pop, too. I'm liking how this one's turning out. This is turning out to be a very, very organized game. Oh, I see it. They'll move apart. Yeah, just like that. Okay. Oh, that worked. Hello, Syra. As you can see, we don't have many apples on the screen at the moment because I am doing quite well. Let's see, we'll put you right there, I guess. Stack these guys. Yeah. I've been practicing off stream. And also kind of rethinking how I've been doing the streams a little bit. That's why you can still see, like, my background right now. Because normally I'm, like, the kind of guy who's like, I want to see as much of the game as possible. Wait, so I do think they're apples? What are you talking about? I mean, that looks like an apple. I mean, no idea what cotton 4K. What? I mean, it looks like an apple. I don't know. What are you even on about? Don't mess with me, tomato boy. What are you talking about? Those don't look like tomatoes at all. They look like apples. This is a fruit game. This was not... This was not the reason we divorced. I refuse to believe that it was because I ever thought these looked like tomatoes. That is just not the case. These are clearly apples. I don't know what you're on about. But anyway, this game is going a lot better than the last one, I think. There we go. That's a good setup. I like that setup a lot. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Oh, that was beautiful. That was so good. There we go. That was beautiful. Now we just need to get the pineapples together. I don't know how we're going to do it. But just like a Hallmark movie, we are going to play matchmaker with our friends. And not even worry about the possible outcomes to that decision. Have you ever seen someone do that? Like they're trying to play matchmaker for their friends, and they end up like screwing over their friend in a major way? I feel like that's more common than we think it is, but less common than Hallmark movies would lead us to believe. I don't know, that's just me. Like, I feel like that absolutely does happen, but not at the frequency that Hollywood wants you to think it does. You've seen yeah, sometimes it just works, right? Or sometimes it just doesn't work, but it's usually not in like a terrifying way that it turns out. Man, I need stuff to start combining here. I would love to be a matchmaker. Like a proper, like, oh, here's rich people, but they're rich because they're like autistic, so they don't know how to find people and get married. And that's where I come in. I'm the guy who gets them married. Like Hitch in the movie Hitch. Wait, no, that was supposed to roll over. Ah, darn it. Darn it, I threw a good game. I threw a good game while dreaming about being a Hitch. Have you seen Hitch? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's a good reference. Hitch is a great movie. The short of it is, it's a guy who like plays matchmaker to famous people who have no game. And the movie is about him falling in love and being a complete dork. Like, he's got all these rules, and some of them are good, but most of them are really bad, about how to talk to women and how to like get them to like you, stuff like that. And over the course of the film, he just learns that he's been a complete prick the whole time, and the only thing that actually worked for his business was he was teaching people confidence. Great movie. Hitch. I think it was Will Smith who played our titular guy. I like movies like that, you know, where it's like a guy who's got it all together for other people kind of falls apart whenever he's doing his own thing. I think that's a very funny genre of, like, especially romance stories. I think that's a really good genre. And I am a little bit biased because I'm kind of that person for a lot of my friends, where it's like, oh, what are you doing, you moron? If you want this person to like you, you should do this, this, and this. And it usually works out for them. My advice usually works. But in my personal life, I have the swagger of young Sheldon. Let's put it like that. Like, I've got nothing going on in my personal life, but I can help other people, right? So I like when movies do that too, partially because it's satisfying to see someone get cut to size, but also partially because that's just kind of where I'm at in my life, and it gives me a little bit of hope that maybe I can make things better at some point. You know what I mean? Like, that's the point of the romance genre in general, is that it gives you hope that you can improve your own life. Yeah, Null, young Sheldon swagger. Oh, man. Speaking of young Sheldon, apparently it's coming to an end, and I'm actually upset about that, because the parts with Georgie and the family are absolutely fantastic. You're taking a romance class, Syra? Like a romance writing class? Or like a romance class? You hear what I'm saying? Like, are we talking romance? Or are we talking romance? A writing class, okay? Stop talking! Look, it's not my fault if I inspire things in other people that they themselves do not understand. Ka-chow. But yeah, young Sheldon is coming to an end, and I'm actually devastated because they somehow managed to make a great show. Like, the craziest thing about Young Sheldon to me is it's the exact same writer's room as Big Bang Theory. And they somehow managed to make this amazing, dramatic, period piece show about a middle to lower class family living in rural Texas. And occasionally, Sheldon just walks into frame and destroys anything the episode has going on. But, like, for the parts where Sheldon isn't there, it's actually fantastic. Like, is anyone else on Young Sheldon TikTok? Does anyone else know what I'm talking about? Please tell me someone else knows what I'm talking about. I will be devastated. Okay, Noel, there you go. Yeah, you really like Young Sheldon. Because, like, the arc where Georgie gets the 29-year-old pregnant is on replay throughout my TikTok For You page because it's just so good, it gets the views. It's basically view botting, right? That's how I've watched the show exclusively, by the way, is clips that have been stolen and put on TikTok. It's how I watch a lot of stuff nowadays. Just accidentally. My algorithm took me there, and I am staying, because it's actually a decent way to watch television. Because I could just... No! It threw the grape out? No! 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 Game! Screw you, game! But anyway, the arc where Georgie gets the 29-year-old pregnant, as a Southern boy myself, not Texas specifically, but I am Southern enough to say that entire scene plays out exactly the way they portrayed it. Like, they have some Southern blood in that writing room that is leading them through all of this. That's the only thing I can say. Because, like, telling your parents you got someone pregnant and then you have to keep it, you know, because what else are you gonna do? Is, like, that entire scene plays out exactly the way they portrayed it. With the dad going, oh no, oh no. And Georgie's like, can you say anything else? It's perfect. It's chef's kiss. It is actually such a great depiction of like, how these people would actually react to this news, right? It's so well done, you can't help but actually like everyone in the situation. Except for Mandy, I think was her name. Mandy's mom is just awful throughout the entire thing. Understandably so, but still awful. But everyone else, you like everyone else by the time that arc is over, because everyone else just was not terrible. Like, that's my big problem with so many shows nowadays, is everyone in the shows has to be just awful to each other. I like it when people aren't awful to each other. When, yes, they are characters who are working in their own best self-interest, but that self-interest actually co-aligns with other people's, and so they actually try to work with other people in order to, you know, become better for everyone around them. Instead of everyone just being awful to each other and the audience pretending that that's what comedy is. Like, it's so annoying, because I get so many of these old sitcoms on my TikTok For You page, so I feel like I could talk about it. Like, so many of the old sitcoms are just about not dysfunctional families, but families where you feel like even the actors hated each other at the end of the day. Where, like, everyone's actually just abusive to each other. Like, if any of you have ever watched Community, and you know, like, the drama with Chevy Chase in the background, where he hated working on the show and he thought it was beneath him, and a lot of that came out in his performance of his character on Community. It feels very much like that in a lot of these old shows, where everyone feels like this is beneath them. Why are they here? Why aren't, you know, they doing something better with their acting careers? This is a low-grade sitcom, and I hate everyone I'm working with. I hate those shows. Community gets away with it because the point of Community is a bunch of awful people learning how not to be awful together. That's the point of a community in general, is people coming together to learn how not to be awful. So Community gets a pass, but so many other shows are just mean for meanness' sake. Like, Big Bang Theory itself is a super mean show. Sheldon's just a jerk the entire show. Young Sheldon actually has more kindness than old Sheldon, which is so weird. It's like he's had negative character progression between the two programs, and I hate that. If anything, I want to see young Sheldon being awful and old Sheldon being a better person, but that's exactly the opposite of what we get in both shows. Rare W. Teller take? Okay, well, thank you, Syra. I don't know if I should be insulted or not, because that means you think most of my takes are not good, but I will take it that you think this take is good. I will accept that. You love Community? No? Okay. Yeah, see, Community's great. Community's actually fantastic because it's really good writing and it has a purpose, and the purpose is making each other better. Like, every episode is geared towards this place of mutual trust and understanding that the characters have to get to. And if they don't get there, it's a failed episode of Community. So they always get there. Not to say that any of them are even good people by the end of the show, but they're better than when they started. And it's fantastic because of that. And being better, in the Community definition, doesn't even necessarily mean to not be yourself. Instead, they find the best versions of themselves throughout the program. And that's what I really like about it. Because, like, Jeff, the star of the show, Jeff Winger, is he's this awful person, right? He talks everyone into doing what's in his best interest and not in their own all the time. But throughout the show, he learns how to use that power to help people instead of constantly hurting them, and he even finds a bit of a moral compass by the end. And that's fantastic. This one's getting away from me. I don't think I'm winning this game. I think I spent too much time ranting about young Sheldon and not enough time thinking. Yep, there we go. Ah, nuts. So we were talking about this earlier in the Discord server, but there's a new MiHoYo game coming out. It's MiHoYo, right? Not just Hoyo? Or did they like completely rebrand to Hoyoverse or whatever it is now? I don't know. And I'm actually a little bit curious, not excited, just curious about that one because I like the world concept. I really love Genshin for the same reason. The world concept is great. It just had way too much filler and it burned me out really fast. Like, it's one of those things I might return to in a couple months. But it's been like 7 months since I last played it. And at a certain point, you just feel like you're too far behind. And I'm not going to bother, you know? But anyway, the new Hoyo, if it doesn't have the same filler issues, I could see myself really... Oh, game, are you okay? Oh, something must have got unplugged. 1 second. Game? Game, talk to me, game! Game! It's impossible to catch up with Genshin if you didn't start it. Very true. Very, very true. Game, you're back! Okay. All the fun events are locked behind being caught up. Yeah, that was a big reason I just dropped Genshin altogether. Was I didn't have the time to like play it religiously, and I didn't want to play it religiously, but I wanted to be able to play when I wanted to and still get into the fun events. And I was like one of the early adopters of Genshin. I was their ground floor kind of thing. I loved the game. I was one of the free-to-plays, but because I got in so early, I got all the characters early, so I was able to have good odds on the really rare ones. Yeah, and that's the other thing. I don't want to grind Genshin stories, because the Genshin stories are actually terrific when you're not spending 45 minutes doing some random filler shit. Like, that was a huge problem with the game when I left, is that because of development time, to make the story last for players, it was just mountains of nonsense, go here, talk to this person, learn a character motivation. Like, I don't need to, like, the one that really stuck out to me was the Raiden Shogun story for being really bad about this. I don't need to get talked into helping the rebellion after I've seen the opening credits. I don't need to get talked into that. I'm already on their side. But then you had me do 55 minutes. I timed it. 55 minutes of nonsense filler stuff that's considered to be part of the main story. It's main story questing that doesn't progress the main story. You make me do all of that just to develop the character motivation that I want to help these people. When my character should have had that motivation from the get-go because they're being, you know, abused. I timed it because I was getting really annoyed by all the story stuff. I'd run through the Geo story, and I was starting the Electric. I was like, how much filler is this one gonna have? And it was just awful. Nobody stops talking. Oh my god, no, you hit it on the head. Everyone wants to talk about everything, even if it's really freaking obvious. And you know why they do that? It's a genre problem. The reason they act like that is because they understand they are primarily a phone game. And as a phone game, a lot of players are not going to be putting a lot of thought or effort into the story, which, by the way, is an incredibly good story, again. But a lot of players aren't going to be putting a lot of thought into it, so they know that they have to regurgitate the story every 5 minutes to make sure you're on track. It's a genre problem that they have. Especially Paimon. Yeah, Paimon tends to be the voice that they overuse, to re-explain the story every 5 minutes just in case you haven't picked up the phone game in a couple of days and you forgot where you're at. If they would focus more on... I would love to see MiHoYo focus on a really great PC game where they don't have those genre restrictions and they could just make something good. Yeah, there's a lot of writers don't trust their readers going on with MiHoYo, and I don't know if that's translation issues or what. Like, I don't know if in... They're Chinese, right? I don't know if in Chinese... Wow, we have a lot of fruits here that we need to get combined. I don't know if in Chinese the game plays better. If it does, then I would say it's a translation issue. But, like, I love the Genshin stories. They actually are incredibly deep philosophical tales that I can get really into. Like, the first story, Mondstadt, what the fuck is it called? The Wind Archon. It's an incredible story about what freedom is, and actually, can people tolerate freedom? What is true freedom? Can you actually ever experience true freedom? Is it a good thing to experience true freedom? Mondstadt gets to encounter all of those wonderful philosophical questions, and it does really good jobs with all of them, answering them and being thoughtful and giving you multiple character perspectives so that there doesn't seem to be one answer to this question, but instead an argument that you can have. Like, it's so good at that. They did it again with the Geo Archon and the nature of contracts and duty to yourself and to your friends and your community. They were so good about that too. The Electro Archon, I never finished the Electro story, but from what I played, the Electro Archon feels like it was a story about what dreams are, what ambitions are. Can you truly steal that from another person? And the direction it was going, I loved it, but I had to sit through another hour and 30 minutes of filler main quest before I got to even discuss that question with an in-game character. And that was the moment I broke. That was the moment where I said, no more. You're abusing me, game. You're abusing me for playtime. I'm out. I wanted to actually have an interesting philosophical discussion with the cute anime girl, but no. No! What I get instead is abuse. I get hours and hours of abuse from you. I'm done. I'm out. And that was the part that broke me about Genshin. Tell her going mad on live, right? Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. You're digging up some story trauma for me. It really was that bad, though. Like, the filler actually cuts you off in the middle of the most interesting parts of the story. Nonsensically, I'll add. The filler never makes sense when it shows up, and you just have to do it. And at a certain point, I realized it was like being with a toxic girlfriend. And I had to walk away from it. I really like Genshin. I love the combat. I love every mechanic. Their storytelling is sublime. But all of the filler material, please, Lord God, just let me... If you want me to have filler material, just have me grind for more in-game objects. I will grind for hours. I will grind until my skin is raw. But don't interrupt my story. I feel like an old woman ranting about her soap operas. Just gonna let myself stew in that one for a little bit. I feel like I got a little bit too angry there, chat. I'll be honest. I feel like I need to apologize to you guys for being too angry. You feel seen, Null. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad I could help you feel seen. You're seen, you're heard, you're valid as fuck, my man. Because Genshin is abusive. Genshin is abusive. That's just the long and short of that story. And you know, this, like, you could probably tell, this is the anger that comes from a place of love when someone is just not living up to their full potential. I feel like I'm Malcolm's mom on the last episode of Malcolm in the Middle, screaming about how he's got to be the best president the world's ever seen because he can do it, so he has a duty to do it. And the Genshin writers room are some of the best writers I've seen right now, and they have a duty to be better than all this filler. They have a duty to do that, and they're not living up to it, and it's getting me pissed because I keep thinking about it. I'm like, oh, I would love to go back and play some more Genshin. It's actually super fun and cool. And then I remember what's waiting for me, and I can't do it. I just can't do it. So if their new game manages to not have as much goddamn filler, I will make a goddamn religion around that game. Because I know what their writers are capable of, and I am trusting them. But if it has just as much filler, I will never play another MiHoYo again. I will eschew the entire genre. I won't do that to myself again. I'll try out the new one when it comes out, because it seems very different from Honkai and Genshin. And I hope that's because it is different, and it's not just another palette swap. But I don't know. So anyway, that's what my thoughts are on the new MiHoYo. I ranted again, so I'm gonna lose this level. That's how this goes. Oh? Oh? Nothing flew out at a random weird angle? Oh? Guys, this is working? We just gotta get the pineapple down? Yes, yes. Nothing's flying around? Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, yes! Oh my god, that was so good. We got a game, ladies and gentlemen. We have a game. Oh, that's going so good. I feel like that was a little bit too angry of me, chat. I feel like I violated you somehow by expressing that much anger all at once. You too? Do I need to apologize? I'm being dead serious right now. Do I need to apologize for that? Right now? I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry I ranted about the god-awful game of Genshin Impact and how abusive it was to me. I'm sorry I vented like I was talking about an ex-girlfriend. You know the most ironic part of that statement? I only have one ex-girlfriend, and she's great. She's actually a wonderful person. Oh, that's a watermelon! That's a watermelon, chat! It just happened! I wasn't even expecting it to happen, it just happened! We've got a watermelon! No, our high score also had a watermelon, but this is the first in a long time. Oh, no, that rolled off the wrong way. Okay. Can I still connect it? Maybe not. Oh, there we go. Got it. Anyone want to tell me about a story they actually like? Maybe we should talk about something we like now. Because I feel like I'm being one of those sitcoms where I'm just being mean to everybody. And I don't want to do that. So what's something that people like? What's your favorite story? It doesn't have to be a book. Just your favorite story in general. Anime and YouTube to TV. Yeah, that's very true. TV nowadays is just awful. Our flag means death. I have no idea what that is. Educate me, Syra. Gay pirates? Okay. Gay in what way? Gay as in gay. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways you can take that nowadays. I don't know if that means that there are pirates who happen to be gay. I don't know if they're pirates that just steal gay people. I don't know if are they pirates in a world where it's not okay to be gay? Are they pirates in a world where it is? There's a lot that actually goes into that. There's a lot that goes into that. Are they hot gay pirates? Are they not hot gay pirates? Like, are they ugly? Because canonically speaking, pirates should be ugly as shit. They never take baths. They have scurvy half the time. They haven't heard of a dentist because dentistry wasn't invented yet. Right? Pirates should be ugly as shit. Pirates should be ugly people with huge neck beards and hooks for hands and so many scars. Like, they should look cool, but you would definitely never fuck one. That's a pirate. I take offense to all media that makes pirates hot. Like, One Piece is at the top of my list there. Any media that makes pirates hot, that is such a such a big no-no to me. I'm sorry, Syra. I'm sorry. I meant to be liking things. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay, so what do the gay pirates do, Syra? Well, I'm pulling up Dracula here. We're done with Suika for now. No, tell me more. One Piece does have a lot of hot pirates, Null. Syra, please, give me another chance to like something here, all right? I promise, I am a capable person. I'm capable of liking things. I swear, I can like stuff. This is why we divorced part 2. This is why we divorced part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Like I like Adam Sandler a lot. Let's start there. I can like things. Adam Sandler's one of the most unlikable comedians in the world, and I still like him. It is possible for me to like things. I just want to say, for the record, I did try. Okay. Time for more Dracula. We're getting into chapter 5. Sometimes trying isn't gonna. Yes, there is no try, only do. Yes, only do. What the was the Yoda impression your final straw, Syra? I'm sorry. We're getting into Dracula now. We're being serious people now. All right? Okay, we're being serious. It's Dracula time. All right. So we're coming up to chapter 5. A little bit of a recap for you guys. In the last chapter, we saw our man Jonathan Harker try like hell to escape Dracula's castle, only to find Dracula preparing himself to be shipped over to England in a large box full of dirt. When he saw this, he tried to kill Dracula, took a shovel to his head, but seems to have been unsuccessful. We now pick up in chapter 5, where we read the assorted letters and correspondence between Miss Mina Murray and Miss Lucy Westerna. Now, this is the part where I have to remind you that Dracula is a collection of writings from the characters that are happening contemporarily, that have been checked for their authenticity and, to the author's best knowledge, are completely accurate. So we will be reading the letters from Miss Mina Murray to Miss Lucy Westerna in chapter 5 today. It starts with this letter from the 9th of May from Mina. My dearest Lucy, forgive my long delay in writing, but I have been simply overwhelmed with work. The life of an assistant schoolmistress is sometimes trying. I am longing to be with you, and by the sea, where we can talk together freely and build our castles in the air. I've been working very hard lately because I want to keep up with Jonathan's studies, and I have been practicing shorthand very assiduously. When we are married, I shall be able to be useful to Jonathan, and if I can stenograph well enough, I can take down what he wants to say in this way and write it out for him on the typewriter, at which I am also practicing very hard. He and I sometimes write letters in shorthand, and he is keeping a stenographic journal of his travels abroad. When I am with you, I shall keep a diary in the same way. I don't mean one of those 2 pages to the week with Sunday squeezed in a corner diaries, but a sort of journal which I can write in whenever I feel inclined. I do not suppose there will be much of interest to other people, but it is not intended for them. I may show it to Jonathan some day if there is in it anything worth sharing, but it really is an excuse book, or an exercise book. I shall try to do what I see lady journalists do, interviewing and writing descriptions and trying to remember conversations. I am told that, with a little practice, one can remember all that goes on, or that one hears said during a day. However, we shall see. I will tell you of my little plans when we meet. I have just had a few hurried lines from Jonathan from Transylvania. He is well, and will be returning in about a week. I am longing to hear all his news. It must be so nice to see strange countries. I wonder if Jonathan and I, shall ever see them together. There is the 10 o'clock bell ringing. Goodbye. Your loving Mina. Postscript. Tell me all the news when you write. You have not told me anything for a long time. I hear rumors, and especially of a tall, handsome, curly-haired man. I like Mina so far. Mina's good. Unfortunately, I think her fiancé is dead. But I like Mina. A letter from Lucy Westerna to Mina Murray. The 17th, Chatham Street, Wednesday. My dearest Mina, I must say you tax me very unfairly with being a bad correspondent. I wrote to you twice since we parted, and your last letter was only your second. Besides, I have nothing to tell you. There's really nothing to interest you. Town is very pleasant just now, and we go a good deal to picture galleries and for walks and rides in the park. As to the tall, curly-haired man, I suppose it was the one who was with me at the last pop. Someone has evidently been telling tales. That was Mr. Holmwood. He often comes to see us, and he and Mamma get on very well together. They have so many things to talk about in common. We met some time ago a man that would just do for you, if you were not already engaged to Jonathan. He is an excellent party, being handsome, well off, and of good birth. He is a doctor and really clever. Just fancy. He is only 29, and he has an immense lunatic asylum all under his own care. Mr. Holmwood introduced him to me, and he called here to see us, and often comes now. I think he is one of the most resolute men I ever saw, and yet the most calm. He seems absolutely imperturbable. I can fancy what a wonderful power he must have over his patients. He has a curious habit of looking one straight in the face, as if trying to read one's thoughts. He tries this on very much with me, but I flatter myself he has got a tough nut to crack. I know that from my glass. Do you ever try to read your own face? I do, and I can tell you it is not a bad study, and gives you more trouble than you can well fancy if you have never tried it. He says that I afford him a curious psychological study, and I humbly think I do. I do not, as you know, take sufficient interest in dress to be able to describe the new fashions. Dress is a bore. That is slang again, but never mind. Arthur says that every day. There it is, all out. Mina, we have told all our secrets to each other since we were children. We have slept and eaten together and laughed and cried together. And now, though I have spoken, I would like to speak more. Oh, Mina, couldn't you guess I love him? I am blushing as I write, for although I think he loves me, he has not told me so in words, but oh, Mina, I love him. I love him. I love him. There, that does me good. I wish I were with you, dear, sitting by the fire undressing as we used to sit, and I would try to tell you what I feel. I do not know how I am writing this even to you. I am afraid to stop or I should tear up the letter, and I don't want to stop, for I do want to tell you all. Let me hear from you at once, and tell me all that you think about it. Mina, I must stop. Good night. Bless me in your prayers, and Mina, pray for my happiness. Postscript. I need not tell you this is a secret. Good night again, Lucy. Another letter from Lucy Westenra to Mina Murray, the 24th of May. My dearest Mina, thanks and thanks and thanks again for your sweet letter. It was so nice to be able to tell you and to have your sympathy. My dear, it never rains but it pours. How true the old proverbs are. Here I am, who shall be 20 in September, and yet I have never had a proposal till today. Not a real proposal, and today I have had 3. Just fancy, 3 proposals in one day. Isn't it awful? I feel sorry, really and truly sorry for 2 of the poor fellows. Oh, Mina, I'm so happy that I don't know what to do with myself. And 3 proposals! But for goodness sake, don't tell any of the girls, or they would be getting all sorts of extravagant ideas and imagining themselves injured and slighted if in their very first day at home they did not get 6 at least. Some girls are so vain. You and I, Mina dear, who are engaged and going to settle down soon, soberly into old married women, can despise vanity. Well, I must tell you about the 3, but you must keep it a secret, dear, from everyone, except, of course, Jonathan. You will tell him, because I would, if I were in your place, certainly tell Arthur. A woman ought to be able to tell her husband everything. Don't you think so, dear? And I must be fair. Men, like women, certainly their wives, to be quite as fair as they are, and women, I am afraid, are not quite as fair as they should be. Well, my dear, number 1 came just before lunch. I told you of him, Dr. John Seward, the lunatic asylum man with the strong jaw and the good forehead. He was very cool outwardly, but was nervous all the same. He had evidently been schooling himself as to all sorts of little things, and remembered them, but he almost managed to silk down on his own silk hat, which men generally don't do when they are cool. And then when he wanted to appear at ease, he kept playing with a lancet in a way that made me nearly scream. He spoke to me, Mina, very straightforwardly. He told me how dear I was to him, though he had known me so little, and what his life would be with me to help and cheer him. He was going to tell me how unhappy he would be if I did not care for him, but when he saw me cry, he said that he was a brute and would not add to my present trouble. Then he broke off and asked if I could love him in time, and when I shook my head, his hands trembled, and then with some hesitation, he asked me if I cared already for anyone else. He put it very nicely, saying that he did not want to wring my confidence from me, but only to know, because if a woman's heart was free, a man might have hope. And then, Mina, I felt a sort of duty to tell him that there was someone. I only told him that much, and then he stood up and looked very strong and very grave as he took both my hands in his and said he hoped I would be happy, and that if I ever wanted a friend, I must count him one of my best. Oh, Mina, dear, I can't help a good cry. Wait, oh, my eyes just did a little thing. I can't find my place. I can't help but cry, and you must excuse this letter being all blotted. Being proposed to is all very nice and all that's short, but it isn't at all a happy thing when you have to see a poor fellow who you know loves you honestly going away and looking all broken-hearted, and to know that, no matter what he may say at the moment, you are passing quite out of his life. My dear, I must stop here at the present. I feel so miserable, though I am so happy. She resumed writing that evening. Arthur is just gone, and I feel in better spirits than when I left off, so I can go on telling you about the day. Well, my dear, number 2 came after lunch. He is such a nice fellow, an American, from Texas, and he looks so young and so fresh that it seems almost impossible that he has been to so many places and had such adventures. I sympathize with poor Desdemona when she had such a dangerous stream poured in her ear, even by a black man. I suppose that we women are such cowards that we think a man will save us from fears, and we marry him. I know now what I would do if I were a man and wanted to make a girl love me. No, I don't, for there was Mr. Morris telling us his stories, and Arthur never told any, and yet, my dear, I am somewhat previous. Mr. Quincy P. Morris found me alone. It seems that a man always does find a girl alone. No, he doesn't, for Arthur tried twice to make a chance, and I helping him all I could. I am not ashamed to say it now. I must tell you beforehand that Mr. Morris doesn't always speak slang. That is to say, he never does so to strangers or before them, for he is really well educated and has exquisite manners. But he found out that it amused me to hear him talk American slang, and whenever I was present, and there was no one to be shocked, he said such funny things. I'm afraid, my dear, he had to invent it all, for it fits exactly into whatever else he has to say. But this is a way slang has. I do not know myself if I shall ever speak slang. I do not know if Arthur likes it, as I have never heard him use any as yet. Well, Mr. Morris sat down beside me and looked as happy and jolly as he could, but I could see all the same that he was very nervous. He took my hand in his and said ever so sweetly, "Miss Lucy, I ain't good enough to regulate the fixin's of your little shoes. But I guess if you wait till you found a man that is, you'd go 'long them 7 young women with the lamps when you quit. Won't you just hitch up alongside me and let us go down the road together, driving in double harness?" I gotta stop there for a second. I got secondhand embarrassment from this man. Good God. Okay. Well, he did look so good-humored and so jolly that it didn't seem half so hard to refuse him as it did poor Dr. Seward. So I said, as lightly as I could, that I did not know anything of hitching, and that I wasn't broken to harness at all yet. Then he said that he had spoken in a light manner, and he hoped that if he had made a mistake in doing so on so grave, so momentous an occasion for him, I would forgive him. He really did look serious when he was saying it, and I couldn't help feeling a bit serious too. I know, Mina, you will think me a horrid flirt, though I couldn't help feeling a sort of exultation that he was number 2 in one day. And then, my dear, before I could say a word, he began pouring out a perfect torrent of love-making, laying his very heart and soul at my feet. He looked so earnest over it that I shall never again think that a man must be playful always and never earnest, because he is merry at times. I suppose he saw something in my face which checked him, for he suddenly stopped, and said with a sort of manly fervor that I could have loved him for if I had been free, "Lucy, you are an honest-hearted girl, I know. I should not be here speaking to you as I am now if I did not believe you clean grit, right through to the very depths of your soul. Tell me, like one good fellow to another, is there anyone else that you care for? And if there is, I'll never trouble you a hair's breadth again, but will be, if you let me, a very faithful friend." My dear Mina, why are men so noble when we women are so little worthy of them? Here I was, almost making fun of this great-hearted, true gentleman. I burst into tears. I am afraid, my dear, that you will think this a very sloppy letter in more ways than one, and I really felt very badly. Why can't they let a girl marry 3 men, or as many as her want, and save all this trouble? But this is heresy, and I must not say it. I'm glad to say that though I was crying, I was able to look into Mr. Morris's brave eyes, and I told him out straight. Yes, there is someone I love, though he has not yet told me that he even loves me. I was right to speak to him so frankly, for quite a light came into his face, and he put out both his hands and took mine. I think I put them into his, and said in a hearty way, "That's my brave girl. It's better worth being late for a chance of winning you than being in time for any other girl in the world. Don't cry, my dear. If it's for me, I'm a hard nut to crack, and I'll take it standing up. If that other fella doesn't know his happiness, well, he'd better look for it soon, or he'll have me to deal with. Little girl, your honesty and pluck have made me a friend, and that's rarer than a lover. It's more unselfish, anyhow. My dear, I'm going to have a pretty lonely walk between this and Kingdom Come. Won't you give me one kiss? It'll be something to keep off the darkness now and then. You can, you know, if you like, for that other good fella. He must be a good fella, my dear, and a fine fella, for if you could not love him, hasn't spoken yet. That quite won me, Mina, for it was brave and sweet of him, and noble, too, to a rival, wasn't it? And he so sad. So I leant over and kissed him. He stood up with my 2 hands in his, and he looked down into my face. I am afraid I was blushing very much. He said, "Little girl, I'll hold your hand, and you've kissed me. And if these things don't make us friends, nothing ever will. Thank you for your sweet honesty to me, and goodbye." He wrung my hand, and taking up his hat, went straight out of the room without looking back, without a tear or a quiver or a pause. And I am crying like a baby. Oh, why must a man like that be made unhappy, when there are lots of girls who would worship the very ground he trod on? I know I would if I were free. Only I don't want to be free. My dear, this quite upset me, and I feel I cannot write of happiness just at once after telling you of it, and I don't wish to tell you of the number 3 until it can be all happy. Ever your loving, Lucy. P.S. Oh, about number 3. I needn't tell you of number 3, need I? Besides, it was all so confused, it seemed only a moment from his coming into the rooms till both his arms were around me and he was kissing me. I am very, very happy, and I don't know what I've done to deserve it. I must only try in the future to show that I am not ungrateful to God for all his goodness to me and sending to me such a lover, such a husband, and such a friend. Goodbye. That's not the end of the chapter just yet. We turn now to Dr. Seward's diary. You might recognize him as the first rejection. This was originally kept in phonograph, transcribed here for you. The 25th of May. Ebb tide and appetite today. Cannot eat, cannot rest, so diary instead. Since my rebuff of yesterday, I have a sort of empty feeling. Nothing in the world seems of sufficient importance to be worth the doing. As I knew that the only cure for this sort of thing was work, I went down amongst the patients. I picked out one who has afforded me a study of much interest. He is so quaint that I am determined to understand him as well as I can. Today I seem to get nearer than ever before to the heart of his mystery. I questioned him more fully than I had ever done, with the view of making myself master of the facts of his hallucination. In my manner of doing it, there was, I now see, something of cruelty. I seemed to wish to keep him to the point of his madness, a thing which I avoid with the patience as I would the mouth of hell. Memorandum: under what circumstances would I not avoid the pit of hell? Omnia me venalia sunt. Hell has its price. Verb sap. If there be anything behind this instinct, it will be valuable to trace it afterwards accurately, so I had better commence to do so. Therefore, R. M. Redfield, Etat 59. Sanguine temperament, great physical strength. Morbidly excitable, periods of gloom ending in some fixed idea which I cannot make out. I presume that the sanguine temperament itself and this disturbing influence end in a mentally accomplished finish. a possibly dangerous man. Probably dangerous if unselfish. In selfish men, caution is as secure as armor for their foes as for themselves. When I think of on this point is, when self is the fixed point, the centripetal force is balanced within the centrifugal. When duty, a cause, etc. is the fixed point, the latter force is paramount, and only an accident or a series of accidents can balance it. It's very odd. Who is this Mr. Renfield? A letter from Quincy P. Morris to the Honorable Arthur Holmwood on the 25th of May. My dear Art, we've told yarns by the campfire in the prairies, and dressed one another's wounds after trying to land at the Marquesa, and drunk healths on the shore of Titicaca. There are more yarns to be told, and other wounds to be healed, and another health to be drunk. Won't you let this be at my campfire tomorrow night? I have no hesitation in asking you, as I know a certain lady is engaged to a certain dinner party, and that you, sir, are free. There will be only one other, our old pal at the Korea, Jack Seward. He's coming too, and we both want to mingle our weeps over the wine cup, and to drink a health with all our hearts to the happiest man in all the wide world, who has won the noblest heart that God has made, and the best worth winning. We promise you a hearty welcome and a loving gesture, and as a health as true as your own white hand. We shall both swear to leave you at home if you drink too deep to a certain pair of eyes. Come! Yours as ever and always, Quincy P. Morris. A telegram from the Honorable Arthur Holmwood to Quincy P. Morris on the 26th of May. Count me in every time. I bear messages which will make your ears tingle. Art. And that is the end of chapter 5. Quite an interesting chapter, isn't it? We see the story of 3 proposals, 2 rejections, and an exception. And yet, we get to see the aftermath of these poor young men. And a kind of nobility which is lost on today. These young men invite Arthur, who is the accepted proposal, out for a drink afterward. At least, I hope they have no ill intention towards Arthur. I have no idea. I don't think we do. No, it doesn't look like they had any ill will towards him. So that is a lovely little chapter, a little bit of a rom-com of a chapter there, isn't it? 3 proposals in one day. What a woman this Lucy must be. She must be a catch indeed. What did the Texan say about her? The noblest heart that God has made, and the best worth winning. That is a catch. It's interesting to me that throughout none of the letters was her physical appearance mentioned. Not the letter from Quincy or even the diary from Seward. All of them, to a man, was more interested in her heart and her soul than in anything about her physical appearance, though we know she must have been very lovely to attract 3 men at the same time. It seems to me that these are all men of some credit and some honor. Again, values lost today. Anyone who's seen my lore video will know I'm a big fan of the honorable things, and all of these men have conducted themselves in a way really very honorable. I'm very proud of all of them. But yes, Miss Lucy must be a catch. She very must be. I will say, as far as the Dracula waifu meta goes, Mina and Lucy are in a run-of-gun battle. Yes, men of culture. Yes, Null, you understand. We're talking about men of sufficient morality here. It is interesting to me that both still offered to be her friends, and then both wanted to be friends with her fiancé even so. It almost feels like they meant it. Again, another idea that is lost on today. How many times, I know I've done this, where I've said to a woman, well, I'd like to take you on a date, but if you don't, I'll still be friends. And then I just never talk to her again. Now, to be fair, these were moments of weakness and in my younger days. Nowadays, I don't say such things because I know I don't mean them. There's only been one time where I've said it and truly meant it, and that's a friendship that has sustained itself to this day. But also, a good portion of the time, when you say that and mean it, a woman might just decide against it and push you away. That's a possibility as well. You know what? That chapter was much shorter than I was expecting. Let me take a scroll real quick, see how long the next chapter is. Oh, hell no. Next chapter's 3 times as long. I don't have time for that tonight. I do not have time for that tonight. Okay, let me do something. Let me put down a marker so I know where to edit later. There we go. I don't really have time to read you more tonight because I've got to stick very strictly to the 2 hours. I've got to make dinner after this and then prepare for work in the morning. But I still have about an hour's worth of time. That was a very short chapter. What do I do with myself now? Actually, that chapter was only about a half hour's worth, wasn't it? This short video. Speaking of videos, a little bit of a complaint here. I did a Bookworm Adventures stream the other week, and I left the VOD up on YouTube, and that's gotten like 10 times the amount of views anything else I work on does, which to me is a little bit insulting. Like, I'm glad people like Bookworm after all these years, but also, you know, I put zero work into that. Like, that was a throwaway stream. I put no work into that. I'm glad people liked it. But, like, it's so weird, the things people like and they don't like. And, like, I did a stream earlier this month where I was just writing. It was a NaNoWriMo stream. And that's one of my best videos, too, on YouTube, is just that VOD, which is also very odd to me. Because half the time, I'm just sitting there in silence typing. I suppose it's a good bit of ASMR for people, but it's just me doing this. Oh gosh, what have I hit? So many things just happened on my screen. I didn't mean to do that. Are we still on? We're still on. Okay. I just had like 5 windows pop open. Wow. Keyboard smash. But yeah, the videos that are doing well on YouTube are very odd to me. Very odd. I don't want to end early, but I don't know what I should do now. I don't want to tire out my voice before work tomorrow. So karaoke's off the table. Though I do still have that set up. I could just turn it on. I don't know. I really should have double checked how long this chapter was. Maybe started earlier in the day so I had more time for it. Well, I guess we're going back to play more Suika. Oh wait, that's broken. Give me a sec. Here we go. Let's try it again. Hello, game? Game? Oh, I unplugged it. That's why. 1 second. I unplugged it after we were done. Because otherwise this cord can be a little annoying. Which side do I put it in? This side? Yeah. Hey, there we go. More Suika, since we ran out of Dracula to watch, or to read. Alright, just let me settle back in here. Oh, very generous with the oranges to start. Can I land that? Nope. Yes, good. Perfect. Oops. That's okay. It's being generous with the oranges still. That was a very interesting chapter, wasn't it? After all of the actual horror of the previous chapters, where Harker's probably dead, right? Like, he's in Dracula's castle. He's got no way out. The next day, they're gonna be eating him. He's probably dead at this point. Which sucks for him, you know. Being dead's not too fun. And then we go to, like, such happy correspondences about 3 proposals in a day and all this. You know, I think Bram Stoker missed his calling perhaps as a romance writer, because all of that was extremely enjoyable. He could have made that into its own separate book, really. And it would have been still just as good. As it stands, you could take that chapter out of Dracula entirely and make it its own short story, which perhaps that was how that chapter was born. It was a short story he wrote and decided to place into Dracula. That's rank speculation on my part, but it would be interesting to see if that was maybe the case, because that's kind of how it reads. I don't know. Speaking of writing, anyone in the chat working on anything they want to share? Any writing you think is good enough to be shared? Or I'll nix that, because good, you know, if you're actually a writer, good enough is never actually good enough. Any writing that you would like to share? If there is, I'm more than happy to hear it. I can't promise I won't accidentally start dunking on it like I did with the gay pirates, but I'm happy to hear it still. I can like things, I swear I can. Ooh, that was good. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever this thing is before the watermelon. Been a little while since we saw it. There we go. Oh, you know what I'm very excited for this time of year? Hallmark movies. I love Hallmark movies, unironically. Everything about Hallmark movies, just love them. I'm so weird and convoluted about what I can and can't excuse in writing. I can excuse all of Hallmark because it makes me feel warm and fuzzy and okay with the world. Nuts. Oh, come on now. That's not fair. Like, I can be I'm usually, I should say, super critical of most properties, except Hallmark movies. because they're not trying to be good. They're just trying to inspire an emotion that I would like to have, because I do not have a love life. It does not exist. So it would be nice to actually, you know, simulate that. And that's what Hallmark movies do. And they're not trying to do anything else, which is nice, you know? Like, they know what they're there for, and they do the thing, and they do it well. And that's it. Hallmark. Ooh, let's let that move a little bit. Yeah. That's not great. Not really enjoying how this one's going. Ah, there we go. I will say, Stoker's a little mean, because all of the waifus in his story are already spoken for, and I don't want to, like, get in, you know, I don't want to, like, claim a waifu, because, like, it's a married woman, or nearly, anyway. Well, Mina might be single. Mina's probably single. She just doesn't know it yet. You know, you gotta leave some single people in your stories, so people can crush on them, you know? That's very important to storytelling. If you don't have someone I can crush on, what's the point? I am joking, by the way. If it's not clear, I am joking. Wasn't exactly what I wanted to happen there. Yeah, single but doesn't know it yet. And it's a very sad reason. I mean, honestly, that short description of Mina we got, hot. Like, oh, she's wanting to, like, write and type better so she can help her man with his writing and his job. Hot. Like, that's just undeniably cool, you know? Like, dream girl material right there. I would love a woman who would want to, like, help me with my writing. Because God knows it needs a woman's touch. You know, I have a feeling like that was Brahm kind of writing out of his heart there, like, yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Well, I'll make her a character. If I can't have her, I can at least make a dude who gets to. Oh, good. Things are exploding. Oh, that was good. That was good. Nice. Oops. I don't know. Does anyone in chat ever do that? Where it's like they write a character just because they would find that character hot? Or desirable in some way, maybe? Maybe not like explicitly hot, but like these are characteristics you would want to see in a potential partner. So you just kind of write what you know and you just write it like that, you know? I do that all the time. Doesn't help that the main thing I write is romance. I write a lot of romance. Exclusively romance, I should say. Just because I like romance a lot. I like it. Loving things is good. Even if I'm very bad at it. You have done that, Null? Okay, thank you. I'm not insane. I'll take that validation. OCs like that? Yeah, yeah. Like a story I've been working on for, well over a decade at this point. It keeps evolving and changing as I grow, you know, as a person. I started it when I was 14, 13, something like that. But that story, it's really interesting to me because I know I was doing it. Like, it was a conscious decision to make these characters that I like. Especially for the women. And it's really interesting to go back and look on how I wrote those compared to nowadays. Because when I was writing it as a teenager, these were like very demure, sweet girls. Not helpless by any means. Just, you know, very sweet. Very, I guess you could say, unassuming, almost. And nowadays, they're all sassy and, like, hyper-intelligent. Not opposites, but almost like an evolution of where I was, mentally speaking. It's just kind of interesting to think about how I've changed over the period. I don't like how... Ah, there it goes. Like, the current version of the character, whose name has changed 20 times as well, is this widowed queen of this, you know, high fantasy kind of land thing. I swear it's not Akatar. Please don't think it's Akatar. And she's, like, hyper competent. She's been having to function by herself, basically, in a job it's not even technically legal for her to have, which is queen. And she's just been doing it for almost a year at the point that you meet her in the story. And she's, you know, sweet, but not overly so. She's forgiving, but only reasonably forgiving. She's not even really passionate at this point in her life. You know, she's probably about 29, something like that. First husband's dead. Passion is not even entering into the equation for her anymore, because what she's dealing with at a raw level is just the duty of making sure the kingdom is running. It's very much marriage of convenience type story arc, where in the beginning it was exactly the opposite of that, where the female character didn't really have a duty to anybody. It was a marriage completely out of love. That's how the story was supposed to go originally, and it's just very not that now. it's interesting to me how my own standards have kind of shifted in that way. Where, what does that say about me, you know? What that says about me, kind of, is that I'm willing to take anything. Because at a certain level, I don't think I'm, you know, I don't think I could earn more than that, maybe? And it kind of becomes this idea of, you know, duty over love, which to a certain extent I do actually agree with. Like, I think if you have a duty for whatever reason to be married, you should fulfill that duty, you know, duty before your emotions every time. But also, I would like, you know, to have an emotional component to the decisions I make in my life, an emotionally satisfying component, I should say. Not that I just want to be emotional all the time, but like, I want my decisions to have an emotional satisfaction as well as a satisfaction to my duties. But sometimes I feel like I don't always get that chance. And that's okay. That's how life is. Ooh, that was good. Yeah, roll that way, please. Thank you. Gotta beat him down now. Put that one there before it gets away. Oh, that was good. Oh, now they're not touching, though. Oh, that's the thing happening. I like that. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was so good. That was such a good little chain of event there. Love that. Oh, we are on a roll right now. Yeah. I don't like thinking in that term of OCs, though. Like, I like thinking in the terms of, like, story. Because I think if you're looking at one character alone, you're not actually learning that much. You're learning a lot about how you viewed that one character. It's the overarching story where I think you actually start learning some interesting things about yourself. Like, you can have a character, but what is that character's place in the story? Is it a good place? Is it a bad place? Are they supposed to be there at all? Are they some kind of villain, you know? So a character alone, I don't think, teaches you very much about yourself. It's their position in the world you've created that teaches you a lot more. At least that's how I think of it. Oh, that was such a good little chain. Oh, that was good, wasn't it? That was a good one. I'd like to eventually get this story done. I've been working on it for so long now. Wasn't real. See, that actually shows us a lot, that you didn't really have any story around those characters when you made them. It tells me that you wanted to make those characters simply as a kind of a veil, almost, a way to lens yourself, a way to look at life differently, almost, if that makes sense. Like, you were so desperate to see life through another perspective that you made the other perspective. I'm just wondering when that grape there in the middle is going to give out. Everything else is giving out first, though. That's It's not really what I was planning there. I really need those to move. Not like that, though. Okay, we're getting some movement down there. That's helpful. Ooh, that was scary. That was a scary one. I think I need to give it a minute to settle. Need to let this board settle in a little bit. Figure out what my next move is. Okay. I definitely need this apple to pop into a cantaloupe. Definitely need that. Oh, that's not good. Come on, come on. Roll into the right position. Please, 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 please. Don't launch the pineapple when you do. Ooh. Ooh, that felt close. At least everything's stacking a bit more together now. There's too much junk at the bottom is the thing I'm dealing with right now. Too much junk. That works, I guess. Ah, nuts. So what are you working on nowadays, Null? What's your story? Excuse me. Get a little bit of hiccups. Excuse me again. Ooh. Oh no, I just thought of a really great joke for the gay pirates conversation earlier. But I thought of it too late, so now it doesn't count. Nuts. I hate when I do that. You know, when you come back to something in your mind and you think of something that would have been way better to say. Either because it's funny or it explains your point a little better, whatever. Man. Missed opportunity there. Let's get those plums together. Okay. Get those tomatoes, yeah. Now the oranges, yeah. Oh, gotcha. You're like making lore for him. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, Teller kind of fits into my current story. Kind of. He's like he's like an AU of the story. But I couldn't find any way to fit. I had the idea for the Teller character, but I didn't know where I could fit him in. So I was just like, fuck it, a VTuber. That way I actually get to... No, did my controller just die? Oh, there it is. Oh? Oh, I think it is dying. Oh, nuts. Here, let me grab one little switch things. Just slap it on there. That'll have to work, I guess. Alright, hopefully this works. Come on, little controller. You can do it. I believe in you. Oh no, do I need to take the switch out and like have it find everything? Oh man. I hate when this happens. Come on, connect. You want it to be in a visual medium, so you want to work more on your drawing like a comic. Oh, I get you. Yeah. Okay. That should work. Cool. You have ARG-like ideas? I love a good ARG. See, I say I love a good ARG. I love watching other people do a good ARG. Controller? Come on, you were just working. Does it just not work with Suika game? Do I need to get out the big... I think I need to get out the big one. Gotta slide over here. So, like, for ARG type ideas, are you planning on, like... Oh, I don't know. So I had an idea for when I was developing Teller, which was to have... Controller, you alive? No, you're not. But I can't... Oh, you're working now? Or is this a Suika game glitch? Where it refuses to work... if your controller dies? Is that what's happening here? Did I break Suika game? I think I broke Suika game. Because, like, it's only registering a couple of buttons. Oop. Weird. Okay, let me plug in my original controller, I guess. Wait, do I even have one of those around? I don't have that charge cord with me. It's at my bedside table. Okay, Suika game broke. Done with Suika game. My relationship with Suika game has ended. Just chatting is my only friend. We broke a game, at least. Oh, man. Well, it is coming up on my original time, so it is time to find someone for us to raid. Let's see. I don't want to... The only guy who I follow is live is Lil Aggie, but he's huge, and I don't want to, like, do a really small raid on him, because that'll feel like it's just trying to draw attention to myself. You know what I mean? So I don't want to do that. Like, is that a thing that is frowned upon? Is doing a small raid on a really big channel? Because it would be like, just trying to prop yourself up. I feel like that's a big no-no. Let's see. Who's live that we can raid? Let's find us a VTuber here. Let's see who we got. Japanese. Not sure. Looks like Japanese. Maybe Korean. Is there anyone live who speaks English? Because I would like to enjoy the content, and that's the only language I know. Twitch is not showing me any. You know what? We're gonna do it. We're gonna raid Lil Aggie. He's playing the new MiHoYo. It's a sponsored thing for him, and then afterwards he's going to be doing. He's been in a couple of months now. He has been doing a no-hit randomizer of Elden Ring. It is something that has never been completed before, a hitless run of Elden Ring where everything is randomized. All item, all weapon, all enemy spawns, all bosses, all random. And he's been trying to do that, and he's down to one hit. He has beaten the entire game, only taking one hit of damage. And that one hit was him very hilariously failing a skip. That's very important for the run. And dying from fall damage. So technically, he has done a hitless run, but his pride won't let him stop until he has an actual no asterisk hitless run. So we are going to raid Aggie. Because I just enjoy his content. Wait, unable? What do you mean unable to raid? It's right there in my suggested that you're... What do you mean unable to raid? Okay, I guess. Stupid Twitch. Tell me why I'm unable to raid someone. We get this every time I go to raid somebody. It's like, oh, you just can't raid them. Sorry. Okay, let's try, if I can... I don't know, man. I don't know who to pull up now. Like, does he have raiders turned off? But then why would he show... you know what I mean? Let's see. Is there anything I'd actually like to watch here? Okay. We got this guy. He's playing Lies of P. So we'll raid him, because I like Lies of P. I like the thing they did to Pinocchio with that game. So we're going to raid him. All right. All right, we're going to raid this fellow right now, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. We're back to normal schedule this stream, so I will see you on Tuesday. Goodbye.